This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian. Mission 250.
Welcome to the End of the World podcast, where this is the first week after a long break that we're recording during this crazy time. I don't think I need to specify what I'm talking about.
No, but otherwise we're here to attempt to mildly entertain you.
Yeah,
but I will
try to
say
focus
this:
on the movie.
We were so forward thinking. We've been pandemic ready since day one because we don't see each other when we record this. So
that's right.
Yeah, we were really thinking about this pandemic.
So we strategically placed ourselves around the country so that
At least one of us will survive this thing. Yep.
This dude at work was like, wait a second, you're still doing the podcast? 3 fucking slimy, sweaty dudes around a snowball? What the fuck's going on? I was like, no, you asshole. Like, that's not what it is. You know?
I like that image.
Like, yeah, right? Like, just all of us huddling around one fucking mic. And each of us darting in. Yeah,
you're breathing
exactly.
again.
Yeah, when you go to interrupt the other person, you gotta dive in with your head forward.
No, what we do is we hold each other's hands, and when you want to turn, you squeeze the person's hand that's talking currently.
Yeah. So it's good. It doesn't really.
Not only is it communicative, but it brings us together.
Yeah.
You know?
And it spreads the disease, ultimately.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Denny's really sweaty, though. It's kind of yucky.
Yeah. Denny is kind of
I get nervous when I record. I get a little sticky.
I know. Or when you laugh too much, you get sweaty, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's truth.
There's no ventilation in this room either. In the room where we're holding hands around the snowball. Yeah.
Right. No, they're pumping heat. There's ventilation. They're pumping heat.
It's backroom podcasting is what it is. You podcast and you lose weight.
Well, it also gets sweaty in there because we're all on those like recumbent bikes that are powering all the sound equipment.
Right, because there's no fucking. We're at the end of the world, so there's no electricity.
No, you got to make
it. We're pumping it all ourselves.
Oh man, that's awful.
Oh boy, this is just getting out of control.
We've got like cans of peas that we're eating. It's all we got left.
Delicious peas.
Yeah, baked beans. The baked beans we're stocked on those.
Oh, dude, baked beans are always good.
Yeah.
I could eat those for days.
I have a week's supply. I got
something
to
the whole
does.
Oh yeah. That's what the whole family will eat. So we're good there.
Nice.
Put a little into the world tip for your baked beans. You put a little cup of apple cider vinegar in your baked beans.
What?
I'm never doing that.
No, you do.
Why would you do that?
Gives a little zing.
No, you do. That's a thing.
Yeah.
John.
Gives it a zing.
That's good. That's good.
No. It's got molasses in there.
You do. No. You do.
Yeah, really. I mean, come on. You try it. You just try it. And get back to me.
All right.
If we live to see next week, well, you try it and you get back to me.
When your kids are old enough to have friends over, they're going to go home after being at your house and tell their parents that your baked beans are gross and they don't understand.
They don't even know. You can't.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet if you go to the supermarket right now, apple cider vinegar, not empty. Plenty of it.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just saying, like,
that's
who
good.
uses
I
that
think
shit besides...
white vinegar can sort of disinfect things. I don't know if it kills germs, but whatever.
Oh, geez. Now
certainly
we're going down
burns when you pour it on
All right,
wounds.
so Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah, number 85 in the top 250 movies of all time.
Is it the longest title in the top 250?
It can't be.
I don't know. You're the data guy.
I am, and I was going to try to answer this question, and then I forgot. So
what
now
about
I'm
like
just going
Lord
to
of the
pose
Rings,
it.
Return of the King?
Yeah,
or
you're
something
passing
like
the
that.
buck.
Well, I guess so. Without a colon. I don't know if it counts. If you have a colon, you get, because if you put a colon in your movie title, you get to start a whole other sentence. It's not fair.
That's 2?
Yeah.
That counts as 2?
Yeah. I don't think it counts as 2. I don't think it counts as just 1.
It doesn't count as anything, yeah.
Yeah. Because besides, when you put the colon there, you're really letting everybody know we're about to get really wordy here. Yeah. It was too wordy to put this single
here
title,
we go.
So we're going to go
I got one
colon.
for you.
Now take a deep breath.
How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. That one's longer.
But
that's the second half of the colon, John. Second half of the colon.
Oh, baby.
Is it? Yes, it's or.
So yeah, Dr. Strangelove or colon, How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. So that was the last one.
Second part of the colon, that's like where the shit actually solidifies. Right?
That one's a little bit tricky too, because it's like, well, which one is it, movie? Do you want it to be this title or that title? Why don't you make up your mind before you go ahead and release?
That's the joke,
we just
John.
want to pause. We just want to pause.
I know.
We just want to pause in the reading of it.
If it wasn't a comedy, it would, yeah, but whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
What do we got here?
Hiya.
We got a movie.
Oh, how's it going, everybody?
Oh, he's back.
Hey,
he survived
what
so
in the
far.
apocalypse, Timmy?
Timmy's ironclad. He's fine.
I thought you'd be out partying. Well,
I'm still going to the bar. They just won't let me in, those fucks.
You're not gonna. Hey, let me in. Hey, it's Timmy.
I don't
I'm
have
a
the fucking
regular.
disease. I don't have the virus. I need a fucking booze.
Yeah, there you go.
So we're gonna do a thing that we've never done before, which is
what we already. No one told me about
we
this.
did.
I'm not aware of this.
You'll remember.
Okay.
We changed the order of who's reviewing it first because TC's mentioned this movie
That's
a bunch in the past 3 years and change.
Didn't we do that? Didn't we do that also for what was that movie that TC loves so much?
No, it lined up that one.
Oh, did it just happen?
that was
the stars
Good Will
just
Hunting.
aligned for Good Will Hunting?
Yeah.
Sounds just a line for me, dude.
Yeah, it knew
Come on,
it.
guys.
It knew it was coming.
That was destiny, dude.
It was.
It knew, dude. It fucking knew. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, get out of here. So, anyways,
All right.
Eternal Sunshine is one of my favorite movies.
Nice.
You know, because I'm a fucking sad sack. So, like, this shit plays to my fucking internal dialogue, you know? Yeah, I mean, I love this movie. I don't know. It's got all the things I fucking enjoy. Reality, John Bryan soundtrack. I mean, it's right. I mean, he's fucking fantastic. But some funny lines, because they have to have some comedic stuff in here, because it is kind of it's a sad movie. I mean, that's just what it is. There's no other way to look at it. It's a movie that deals with, like, impulse control, regrettable actions, missed opportunities, gratitude and hindsight. That's a big one in this one, right? It's like, I remember that memory. Fuck, I should have done this, right? Like, I should have realized that, like, I had it great then, or I should have done this, right? And that's something that every single one of us goes through on a daily basis. Oh man, I shouldn't have fucking woke up late. Oh fuck, I shouldn't have drank that many beers. Oh shit, I shouldn't have fucking talked like Timmy. Oh god, I don't know what to do now. That whole thing. But so it's just got a lot of reality stuff based in it. That I think, for me is one of my favorite parts of movies, because I don't know. I don't get enough life in life. I can't. I have to watch it too.
That's heavy.
Right? Like, I gotta watch it too. Right? Like, oh man, I'm not living. So let me watch life. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, my favorite line though has to be Carrie. I'm building a birdhouse.
Right?
Gotta be the best line of the movie. I'm sorry. All that sad shit, and then that line comes out, and you're like, oh man, David Cross, you are just something else.
Yeah.
I can see why you ended up the way you ended up in shows. There's just his natural state is that weirdo, annoying dude.
Yeah.
That couple was, again, well done in terms of you just, that sort of like, here they are nagging each other to death, basically.
Yeah. While they're looking at their
like, friend
painfully in agony, basically, because he lost someone. They're not even able to see the reality in front of them, right? Like, which is all of us. Like, you can't see the fact that...
Yeah.
What? Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was about to make a really stupid point. I think you were going to make a much better point, so why don't you go on?
No, it's just, I mean, that's what I mean, right? Like, this is when the gratitude and hindsight comes in, right? Because if that couple was paying attention, they'd realize, like, hey, maybe let's not fight right now, regardless of what's going on. Because, like, and David Cross tries to bring that up, but then he's a prick. Yeah. So it's like, it's just, I guess this is what the movie's trying to tell us all, right? Is that, like, when we're in the moments of our own bullshit, it's impossible to see, like, how good we have it, right? So
right.
This is why I like this movie so much, because I need to be constantly reminded of that, or I'm down the doldrums every day, right? You might, everyone that's listening, you might think I'm like this fucking, crazy. He's always laughing. He's funny. He does some fucking shit with his voice. I don't know what it is, but whatever. And then like that, you would think that's me, right? But like internally, it's more of like the stuff that's going on in this movie. So it just resonates with me in a certain way.
And I think that really comes just to point. That's a really good point. I think that's the reason why Jim Carrey is so good in this movie is because he's like a comedic actor.
Right.
Most people are used to him seeing like that, but then when you see him sad, then it I don't know.
That's
makes
really
it more
point.
real.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
It is more impactful.
Right.
100%, Denny.
Yeah.
100%. Absolutely.
Like when you see him crying, like at the beginning when it hard cuts to like the when the beginning is over and the credits start rolling like 20 minutes into the movie, it's really shocking. It's like one of the best.
I know.
Jim Carrey moments I think there is on film.
Yeah, it is good. Also, latest entrance of credits in a film so far. I know there's at least been one other with pretty late credits, but
true.
Yeah.
It's
not one of the things
like
we've been keeping track of, but it probably
I know.
is.
Oh. Hey, data guy. You got a new data point.
Oh, yeah. God. No, I do. You write one program and then all of a sudden you're the data guy.
Exactly.
I can be data. I'll help you with data guy.
I can print hello to my screen. Is that good? I can help.
Yeah.
Hey, so Control S is save, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Conversely to my favorite line, which is the birdhouse one, there's a sad line that is such a, I don't know, it hits me every time. I start to tear up again. Every time I watch a movie, it happens every time. It's when they're in the house in Montauk and he runs out of the house and she says, come back and make up a goodbye at least, pretend that we had one. It's just a sad thing, right? Because that's what people go through with death all the time. So like the idea that you're going through that with a person that's still alive, it's heartbreaking because he's like dealing with it in the moment, and it's in his head, but he's asleep or whatever. But it's like soul crushing because he's like, even when you go make up the goodbye, it's not even real, right? So
wow,
no, I thought the same thing. I related really the mind erasing to death.
I did not make that connection until just now, and that's amazing. Wow, that gives a whole other angle.
And I think that's in the movie too, because it has the last shot of the movie is them doing the same thing 3 times in a row. I don't know. I don't really know what the point of the movie is, but they're soulmates because they're attracted to each other in a way that defies any type of
any
logic really.
Yeah.
But they are, and it's believable. And the fact that they're willing to know that it's fucked by the end, which is kind of like we're gonna die. Basically, they're saying well, it's not gonna last. It's like yeah, we're all gonna die. Like, what's the point of staying together anyway? We're gonna be dead. Like, we know that for sure. So it's just
very salient.
I wrote this down at the end after it ended. I wrote true love or friendship, intimacy, right, is what they all talk about on the the talk shows. It's about accepting another person for exactly who they are and still enjoying their company, even when they do impulsive, dumb shit. Or when they're on the opposite side, when they're doing amazing and unique things, but it's the thing that they could only do, right? And I think that's what they're trying to say at the end of it is these two people, these two characters, even though they're fucked and they know they're fucked, they still enjoy every second of being with each other. So they just have to accept the fact that they're
that's the other piece of it. That's the other piece of it is what happens over time in a relationship when it sours and how people get on each other's nerves and develop bad patterns and just slowly get worse and worse and worse with each other. I don't know if there's any sense that it's necessarily going to be different for them, but to say that I think that there's something almost very moving to say that it's still worth it to do it again anyway.
I mean, that's why people get married 6 times, right? Even if you're so much of a, I mean, I don't want to, shit on people that are divorced, but people who can't get along with people over a long period of time, those people still have the urge to have the same thing.
Well, you hope it'll be different, and
that's what I'm saying, right? And that's why I argue that most of those.
If you got married 6 times, maybe there's, maybe you're the problem.
Philanderer. You're a philanderer. No, but I just like using that word.
Yeah, so that's a good word.
I think that's what I was trying to get at. I think the point of the movie ultimately is that time is the fucking thing that most relationships have. And it's either going to go one way. You're either going to go down that road of, falling apart and not fucking realizing what you have. That whole, that's why they keep touching on the gratitude and hindsight. And sometimes that intimacy is there. You just keep on going on. Right. And I think people that get married a bunch of times and divorced a bunch of times, they're not thinking about all those things when they're thinking about the other person. So maybe they're not with the right person, or they're just a fucking asshole. It could go either way.
Right. But, and not necessarily an asshole, just messed up. I mean,
both these people are dysfunctional in ways that they don't help each other out. She's impulsive to the point where I
disagree because she broke him out of his shell, right? He talks about it throughout the movie. His the role reversal is funny too, because most of the time it's the men doing that, right? In these stupid Bumble apps, everyone's I think the men should do this and bullshitting like that. And it's no. Women also have that ability, and sometimes it's fucking amazing when a man is not able to do that shit, right? Gender should not be involved.
Yeah, I think you're right. No, I mean, and that's what happens initially, but then their flaws sort of add up after they sort of help each other out. Then it becomes problematic though, because her capricious nature is difficult because she's out drinking or whatever, and
crashes a fucking. I mean, she's kind of a fucking
right. She's out of control.
Liability.
Yeah. She's not. Yeah. But at the same time, that's the thing about time too, though, is once, what I feel and this is just my idealistic approach to this, which I never have, is that this situation, it's kind of like how this pandemic is screwing up everyone's life. And then maybe some people will probably think differently when it's over. Hopefully, the idea is that's why he wants to continue on is you're going to make me do that. Now I know that's going to happen. So I don't have to react the same way, right? That's part of growing as you get older.
Oh, wow.
And,
that's,
wow. Maybe. I thought it was more of a romantic gesture being I don't care how it ends. I want this feeling that I desire so much right now.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so? That's what I think.
I think TC's version is much more optimistic. I like that. I like TC's interpretation. I hadn't thought of it that way, but I think that's just knowing what's coming, I guess, may be enough to change it, maybe enough to not take it for granted.
Yeah. Or even if you do take it for granted and then you get into these moments, you'll go, oh, yeah, remember this?
No, right. But
else
maybe
can
there's
we do?
something so hopeful in that. And just having, like, again, this is the message you've been saying all along, TC, the idea that gratitude, that gratefulness for what it brought to your life, and to keep that fresh and to make that so that you, as the honeymoon period is over, that you still work. I don't know. You don't take that part for granted about the good things.
Right.
I don't know. I like that, TC. I think that's a really nice way to look at this.
I think so too. I think this movie is great because you can look at it that way, but I think you can also, like the title of the movie is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which kind of indicates that, you know, people that do things over and over again like this and just fall in love without thinking about it too much are the happy ones, even though they're the dumb ones.
Well, they're not necessarily, but they're miserable when things get bad.
Take.
I mean, I think that's that idea. You know, you always have that honeymoon period with any like new relationship, and whether or not, whichever direction it goes, there's this like period of time where the things are just amazing, fantastic, wonderful, right? And it's the most exciting thing ever. And then after time, it has to go somewhere else. Like it can't just be that fantastic new great thing, then it has to go somewhere else. So that's kind of that eternal sunshine, I guess, is sort of like, you know, if you haven't had any experience, if you never had something before and you get it, it's like the most amazing thing ever. And then once you get used to it, you take it for granted, or if you've done it before, right? So I think that's the idea. It's sort of this sense of like, well, you have this innocence. And then once you like, you know, once you have your first love or your first sexual experience or whatever, it's just the most amazing thing. And that's like the best place to be. So the idea is like, what if you can just wipe those memories away or
do that first time over and over again.
Start over, right?
Oh, Jesus.
Which is kind of not a very hopeful thought, right? That means because you can't do that. And that means that the first time you do anything is going to be the best, and it's just going to go downhill from there.
Yeah.
Right. So the point of the movie is, if you're taking it that way, is to be aware of that. I think bringing awareness to those type of feelings can help steer you in a different direction.
I totally agree with that.
It doesn't always work. It doesn't always work, you know?
I think something else I really liked about the film was, too, when he started to bring Clementine into his other memories, it started to show more about him and what his problems were and where he came from. And I thought that was like this really, really brilliant way to sort of like explore how, you know, when you're in these relationships, you bring all this other stuff that's your baggage into it. And so you see him being scared. You see him like with his mom hiding in it. You see this other stuff, and they don't really directly comment on this, but I think it was really just another nice spin on what was going on, where he drags her into these other memories that she has nothing to do with, but it actually happens to have a lot to do with probably how he approaches his relationships
and reacts to her, et cetera. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool, and I actually kind of like that they didn't hit you over the head with that necessarily either, but I thought that was really neat.
Oh, don't worry, Mom, he's just killing me. Hey, he's fine. Yeah, just dying. Are you dead yet? Not yet. All right. I was like, what is this dialogue? This is the weirdest part of the movie. I really liked, just to get, you know, off this deep bullshit, because my head can only take so much of it. I'm sure everyone that's listening, same thing. I loved when they're fucking watching the movie and they're making up the dialogue. That was hilarious.
Oh, Mark, there are people coming out of your butt.
Dude, there are? Yeah. I was like, I forgot that one, and that was funny, man. That really was.
That's some like classic Jim Carrey stuff right there.
Well, but one interesting fact was, at least accordingly, one of the rumors, again, John reading only the Wikipedia page, that Jim Carrey was, unlike the rest of the cast, Jim Carrey was not allowed to improvise because they did not want him, the director did not want him to go into his own character, you know, his own comedic sense. So he was not allowed to improvise the script. But other actors were, apparently.
Yeah. A lot of all the younger actors were improvising the entire time.
Buffalo's like, so I can go on my underwear? I can go on my underwear.
Yeah, that was underwear dancing was Buffalo's idea.
If you want to.
If you really want to. Buffalo.
I think this scene will do a lot better if I'm just in my underwear. Like, all right, you guys.
How does this dance look, director? Is this cool?
Yeah. It looks like a white guy. Yeah, you look dead on. Just do that. Yeah, do that. Yeah.
If I were to criticize this movie, like...
don't do it.
You want me to?
No, I do.
I have my criticism where is just compared to what Carrie and Winslet are doing, all those other characters I don't care about.
I disagree with that 100%.
Yeah, you can, but I
disagree
really?
too.
Okay.
I thought that the casting was not, I mean, the emotional weight of the characters wasn't there.
Let me finish. Can I finish? I'd like to finish. And then you can tell me how wrong I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't care about it. I thought that even the Elijah Wood sort of, he's scamming her to seduce her and all that. I thought those were all distractions from what I thought was a much better story in terms of him and her dealing with their relationship. That other stuff was not nearly as impactful or interesting.
Yeah, but that stuff was just there to make the other stories more impactful.
Yes.
Maybe. I don't know.
Comedic relief, dude. This story is heavy. If it was just them and they're like overly dramatic stuff, you would lose a grounding, basically, I think.
Maybe. I don't know. I felt like the movie could have been shorter and more intense, and that would have been good.
But I do like the relationship between the doctor there and what's her name?
Kirsten Dunst.
With Kirsten Dunst.
There you go.
They edited a lot of that plot out too. There was a lot more.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Well, there was like a whole other girl. There was also his other girlfriend that got edited out, right? Like Jim Carrey had his girlfriend. He was
also
living
there was
out
between Tom, what's his name, and Kirsten Dunst. She had the reason she got her memory erased is because she needed to get an abortion due to their affair.
But see, I think what I liked about the way they edited it down then was the fact that it translated the same sort of themes from Jim Carrey and what's her name? I forget the names. I don't know why.
Kate Winslet.
Yeah, Kate Winslet. There you go. It translated the same themes to these people, right? Like impulsiveness, regrettable mistakes.
Yeah, it was like different perspectives of the same topic, kind of.
So same topic, and then it allows you to go, oh, right. Everyone goes through this, so it's more than just these two characters that we're watching on screen. And John, I understand that I don't think he was very good, as far as the character is concerned, because it was absolutely just there to support.
I thought he was funny. I thought he was hilarious when he steals the panties and then Mark Buffalo.
An actor.
Yeah,
I didn't say as an actor. I just said as a character.
That's what I think too. Yep.
Yeah. And so
I believe,
you know how
much
I love Buffalo, right? Come on, I love Buffalo. So it hurts me
Buffalo's
to say,
great.
but I still think that it wasn't as that part. Those parts just weren't as interesting, and I thought almost a little detracting.
John, all right,
from
so
it. But you're right.
I'll try to defend it a little bit more. They're all younger, so they don't have as much. I don't think. I don't know. I don't know how to say this, but I've seen this movie a bunch of times, and the younger people to me seem like they're more like in high school, so they have less capacity to have the deeper type of emotions that are shown by like the Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet characters. Yeah, I mean, he's getting high with a girl and trying to talk about how cool he is because he's mentioning talking about the Clash, and she doesn't give a shit. They're not even into each other
because he's never been laid.
He's never supposedly been laid. That's why Buffalo got the role, because that was his idea, was that he would be really into the Clash and Joe Strummer.
Well, I mean, he kind of looks like Joe Strummer, so in this movie especially.
Buffalo.
But I mean, it's just
I love Buffalo.
I think it kind of. I like it. Yeah, I got nothing else to say, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
I got a lot to say about the movie specifically.
Okay.
What you guys haven't really talked about, like the technical aspects at all of this movie. The editing in this movie is amazing. Like the transitions between scenes.
Oh yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Especially when the memory's fading.
Right, the memory's fading. Like him waking up in bed by himself and him being like covered in sand, and then like cutting to a scene where they're in the sand. Like they must have had a rock solid. The weird thing is they edited it down a lot, but they had somewhat of a rock solid screenplay to make those transitions work, because you can't use the shot of a guy in a bed in a room covered in sand unless you transition directly to a beach scene. There's a lot of transitions like that. I mean, I think this is my favorite dream state movie there is. The fact, like the way it portrays dreams and how fractured they are and how they meld together and how they don't necessarily have to make sense, but they make sense to you, sort of thing. I mean, if you compare it to something like Inception or something like that, that movie just seems action set piece after action set piece that we're supposed to believe is in someone's head. But this one actually feels like it's inside someone's head, like all the confusion and seeing double and talking to yourself sort of stuff. It's pretty good. And the music is fucking awesome in this movie. I think it's
John Bryan, baby.
Is it John? Who's John Bryan? I don't really know that name.
He's the producer of Elliott Smith, Fiona Apple.
Did he write all the songs for this?
He wrote a lot of he did the score.
But...
he did the score and he did the soundtrack and the score.
It's awesome.
Wait, did he write that? He didn't write the Beck song. Somebody else wrote that Beck song, right?
That's different. No. So that but most of any of the like stuff that you hear that's doesn't have any lyrics or anything.
Yeah,
he has actual songs that he's written that were in there, but he also has like score that he did. And the best part is he's at residency here in LA at Largo. He plays every month, and he plays those songs in this movie from this movie all the time. I've seen him 4 times now.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
that's
and I met
cool.
him once, and he's a really nice guy.
What does he play?
Well, so he plays piano. I've seen 3 different sets. So there's one set where he always has his one piano and his tape machine. There's a lot of like that, weird flangey stuff you hear in the soundtrack is the tape machine, him fucking with the tape machine. So he like records the piano and then he fucks with the tape machine and he'll do it right on stage. And then he'll walk over and then he'll play like the drums for a minute. And then he'll go over and play another instrument. Like he literally just walks around the stage and plays. And
that's awesome.
So I imagine that's what he did while he was watching the film, right? Because that just seems to be how he plays music. So seeing him play that stuff, like you get to see like he is as much part of the movie as the movie is. And at 2004, he was probably one of the most sought after producers if you liked stuff like Fiona Apple or Elliott Smith.
I mean, I think a lot of parts of this movie, like the acting and the editing and the sets and the screenplay, they're all pretty amazing. I think the music is the best part. I think it's the part that really like brings together, especially the parts where I'm like, I agree. Like this movie chokes me up multiple times throughout the movie. And it's not the music's fault, but it's like, I think the music is like the real driving factor. And even though like the editing and the story
Elliott Smith.
I mean, I'm not really a fan of that type of music too. Maybe I should get into it.
Well, look, I mean, the thing is that if you're into that music, which I am, of course, you're a sad sack. So like, if you're not a sad sack and you're not suffering from depression or you're not sad in general, that music, you're going to hear it when you're fucking sad. You're not going to listen to it every day.
Like, why would I? This movie makes me sad after I watch it. So I don't want that emotion all the time.
Right.
I don't.
We're like,
I don't know if I see it as sad. I think I can go with TC's interpretation and see it as more of an optimistic ending.
Yeah, but the idea of it is sad, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, the
overall
amount
tone,
the amount of pain of everybody, of the 2 lead characters, the amount of suffering that they're going through it still doesn't leave you feeling that happy because both of those people are so kind of broken that it's still pretty sad.
Man, what my perspective is that no matter how happy you are, it always ends. It always ends. Period. Like I think that's the point of the movie. So, but then the point is like, well, is it worth doing? Yes, it's worth doing. So do it.
Right. But as far as like the creative is concerned of the movie, it's very tonally sad, right? Like including the music. So
a lot of crying, not a lot of happy Carrie in this movie.
I can see why you watch the end of this movie and you're not like, hey, I'm going to go see John Bryan on Friday at the Largo, right? Like,
they keep this feeling of misery going over here.
But he doesn't, he actually is really cool because he'll actually just say, all right, name a song. And then someone will throw out a song and he'll play it.
Like, does it have to be his song or?
Like, no. Like, name a song. So someone will go like, play David Bowie. And he'll go, ah, shit. All right, I'm going to give it a go. And he'll fucking play and try. And like, sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's mediocre. Sometimes he just starts laughing. He's like, I told you I didn't know this one. Like, he has like a banter back and forth with the audience. It's fantastic.
That sounds pretty awesome.
So, but I don't know. It's weird because like, I think back now on that movie and then where John Bryan was at the time in his career. And I think to myself, like, it's amazing that these things line up sometimes, right? Like, because there's probably no one else on earth that can do a soundtrack like that for this movie.
Right.
Especially that we would know of, right? Like people that we know of, right? And like, he's just happened to be, like, he's an LA guy. So he's happened to be in LA. He's working with these artists that are very, sad and, like Fiona Apple's all over the place. Shit, I think John Bryan saved Elliott Smith from killing himself a couple times before he actually did it. He was in that mindset, right? Like his whole life was kind of sad, even though he's working amazing stuff with his mind and creativity and instrumentation, etc. Like he's going through some shit that then this movie comes along. The guy happens to write it and wants to produce it all at the same time. And then he gets John Bryan to do it. It's like, I don't understand. Sometimes you got to think to yourself, that's what they're trying to say, right? Like that's what's worth it.
Yeah.
The sad shit he's going through somehow ends up being this a beautiful fucking thing for the rest of us. Because, that motherfucker probably wasn't doing so well, as he's working on this shit. But anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this, but it boggles my mind.
Jim Carrey also wasn't doing great during the shoot of this movie.
Oh, really?
So that's part of the reason why they wanted to cast him, because they knew they were going to be able to get a good sad Jim Carrey because he was going through some shit.
Wow.
Because he peaked at the beginning of his career. Well, not at the beginning of his career, but he had like the best year like any actor ever. He was in Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, and The Mask in 1994, all in the same year, being like the most famous person in the world. Fucks with people in a bad way. And this was after A Man on the Moon too, and he started kind of losing his mind during that movie. I don't know if you guys have seen the behind the scenes of that movie.
I've heard it's pretty interesting.
Oh,
it is really good.
Yes, I did.
He pretty much embodies Andy Kaufman and his little weird side character.
Way overboard.
It was way overboard.
Method acting to
like a mentally ill person, basically.
Lunacy. Yeah. Fuck, man.
But yeah, I don't know.
Those are the moments when you start to realize, like, these are the reasons why people actually get into Hollywood, right? Like there's just like that one movie,
right?
The way that
I
happened.
agree. I think this movie works perfectly. I think I can't think of any. I wrote the one flaw I found, John, in this movie is that I found it somewhat unbelievable that on was it Valentine's Day when Jim Carrey busts in and like demands that his mind also be erased, that the main doctor on the busiest day of the year has time to interview him on like what he wants to forget or whatever. I was like, damn.
That's a good point.
I'm sure there's 1,000 people that bust into this place when their girlfriend erased them on Valentine's Day.
Right, on Valentine's Day, right? Good point. That's a good one. Yeah, all right.
But that's
all
it. I mean, that's movie. Nothing. Like, this easy to forgive.
I know. No. Well, I mean, the nice thing is, I mean, I think it's skillfully done, and we're all willing to do that. We're all very willing to just accept the scientific piece and just go along with it.
It's great, dude. This movie is a romantic movie that it's heavily science fiction. It's pretty awesome.
But we're all just there's really no point of true. It's done so deftly that you're not ever like, hey, wait a minute, that's all silly. Yeah. It doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
You're
focus
telling
on
me
the
that you guys have data of the memories on a spreadsheet. Right.
It's done it like clinically enough. I think the Tom Wilkinson character
but also
is like
they avoid trying to be all technical too. They do this right amount of glossing over it that makes you just go along with it. It's very nicely done.
Yep.
Agreed.
Oh yeah. You know what has happened now, guys, is that you guys have to come to LA and we'll do a Largo night. We'll go see John Bryan play.
Oh God, I would love that. That would be awesome. Yeah.
And then we'll hang out at the little bar after, and we'll see if he comes in like he usually does.
Oh, dude. Okay, when the crisis is over,
let's do that.
Maybe we should set that up. That sounds awesome.
Oh, it's so fun. I mean,
my wife has been to a couple conferences. She owes me, so let's do this.
Yeah. See, gratitude, John. Gratitude, though. Careful. They have this
like
little...
juggling two toddlers. It's
they have
literally
this bar
juggling two toddlers.
So at the Largo, they have a bar that is, I don't forget what it's called. It's called the Little Bar. Some bullshit. I don't know. But basically what happens is after they finish, almost always, if the artist is playing there and it's an LA person, especially if it's a residency, they'll finish their set, and then everyone goes to this little tiny bar, and there's usually like a friend of the person that played or somebody that like is already in there kind of just playing acoustic guitar or piano or whatever. And then you get a couple of drinks, and then the artist usually comes in and kind of sits and talks to a couple people. And so if you hang out long enough at that little bar after the shows, like John Bryan, he's come every single time I've been there. I've only bothered him once, twice. But and bother, I mean talk to him for like 10 seconds. Okay, man, that's really cool. Oh yeah, no, that's great, man. Oh no, dude, great job, man. I really dug it. Yep. All right, have a good one. Yep. That's about the extent of that. But
and you walk away being like, oh man, I hope I didn't annoy him. I fucking love that though.
Yeah, right. But then like you hear someone else behind you, and they're like, oh my god, I fucking love Rushmore, or whatever, and like. I didn't even do that movie.
He did. Oh, he didn't? I'm going to look him up right now.
I've never heard his name before. I think he did.
He did. Punch Drunk Love it's
Punch
interesting.
Drunk Love. That's what I was thinking.
Because that one is interesting because it's another case of like you have a comedic actor being in a serious role. I haven't seen that film, but I've heard it's very good.
Oh, it's good.
That's Adam Sandler being abusive or something.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's a Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
John Bryan did I Heart Huckabees as well. The soundtrack for that.
Oh.
The only problem with the Largo is that it's general admission every time. So you have to show, and you can't buy tickets online. So you have to show up at like 6, get your ticket, which gives you your seat, which is usually a good one if you get there early, and then like go away for 3 hours and come back. That's like that's like their shtick. Yeah. So I've done it a couple times, and we're all kind of tall. So to be honest, if we get there on time, you end up in the back where there's like an aisle in front of some seats. I usually just take those now. Like it's never full because everyone gets there. They try to get there early to get the good seat, but the good seats are not good because me and you, I'm telling you, it's the most uncomfortable thing. It's like an old theater style where you can't even you just
gotta man spread the shit out of it, dude.
You can't even man spread because the thing next to you is too close. You gotta like do that.
You gotta go tall person, short person, tall person. Wait, isn't John? How tall are you, John? You're taller than you're like the same height as us
too.
Like 6'3",
yeah.
Oh Jesus Christ, he's even worse. You got to do that like side thing, where you're half ass cheek on, half ass cheek off. And you're not quite sitting in the chair really. You're just kind of like edge on the edge. And you're like, dude, this is so good. And then you like have to turn the other way to talk to your friend again, turn to the other guy. Hey, this one's really good, huh? It's because you had to turn back again to the other friend. It's like fucking nightmare. So that's the only thing that sucks. But you know what's really cool too about John Bryan is he usually performs with a video that is synced to whatever he's playing. And then he syncs it up. Yeah, he syncs it up too. So like,
he did Magnolia too? Shit.
Yeah,
Sorry,
he actually has like edits. He like edits the video while he's playing, basically.
Wow.
So he'll like trigger some things and then play and then trigger another thing. And then like that will then get edited into a loop. And then that becomes the loop. And then it's videos that are making that loop. And then he plays along with it on the piano or the guitar or it's fucking,
damn.
It's phenomenal. I'm just realizing now I got to go again. So
it's probably closed for a couple of months.
Oh, it's closed for a long time, dude. LA's a mess right now. Guerrilla filmmaking must be on the rise because imagine the fucking zombie movies you could make right now.
Oh,
or like the Outbreak movies. There's nobody on the road.
I
literally,
I saw it's like trending on like Apple Rentals. It's like Outbreak the movie is trending.
Oh, I saw that. I laughed pretty hard when I saw that.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you think you're going to learn how to deal with it? Because Morgan Freeman puts on a bunny suit.
Fuck that! I'm watching 28 Days Later.
That movie was not a happy movie. I don't think that was a happy movie if I remember right. That was not a.
They cured it by the end, but Kevin Spacey's wife, she fucking eats it, dude. She doesn't make it.
Yeah. Poor thing. Yeah. Anyways, all right, I'm done ranting and raving.
Hey, that's great.
There was other editing stuff. It wasn't just sets and shit. Did you notice that Jim Carrey had like props from the scene before in a different scene? Like he'd carry things through his dreams.
Jeez, they really thought this stuff through,
dude. It's amazing. Just noticing the small things. Sometimes even just entering the frame and a new set from the other one, you would see it in his hands and he'd just like put it on the ground because he was done with it. But they thought enough about it to be like, this will immerse you in the dream. Like, let's just give it to him.
Yeah, right. This will keep the dream sequence. And that's the beauty of a dream sequence is you can basically do whatever you want.
And I was thinking too, I was trying to figure out how they did a lot of the special effects because it seems, and TC, I mean, you probably know more about this than I do. It seemed like a lot of the shaky cam stuff. This movie is almost entirely shaky cam. It looks like it's handheld, but it probably isn't, right? Like there's a lot of.
I think it's handheld.
You think so?
No, there was some shaky cam.
Yeah.
There was like, but there were cameras like on wheelchairs and other things, like not the usual kind of dollies. So they did some things where it was a little unusual. So there's some like kind of. It wasn't like somebody holding a shaky cam. It wasn't Roger, but they did have some more like homemade kinds of dollies.
But then how do you?
Give
so
it that sort of
I guess my
film.
question is there was a lot of what seemed like special effects shots that looked really good, but it was in shaky cam, and it was almost like the found footage horror movie type of special effects where it looks more real because it's a handheld, and you're like, how the fuck would they even do special effects?
A lot of things I saw was them splitting the frames. So like, you got half the frame over on the left is where the actors are, and then the other half is where the effects happening. So they probably just used some VFX to sort of like, in 2004, I think they had stuff like that where they could just like take a shot, take a plate, and then start, morphing the right side of the frame while the actors are moving in the left.
And can you do that with a shaky cam?
I think so, yeah, because ultimately it's VFX, you're just going frame by frame, right? So maybe it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Because I thought the scene where like Patrick looked up and his eyes were all like upside down and shit, that kind of freaked me out.
That was a little freaky.
Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck?
But I know what you're saying. It does seem more difficult, right? Because they're not locked down on sticks.
Right. You can't just be like, all right, let's just put the coordinates and then paint it over on the still frame that we have. It's moving around and shit. So you have to like animate it too.
Well, I mean, you just work frame by frame, right? So you're going to see the same frame. It's just going to be painted over.
Huh.
That's what set extensions are, right? And they can do whatever they want in those types of situations.
True.
Just
so yeah,
frame
I guess
by frame movement.
It's a good trick to add the shaky cam over it. I guess it makes it more.
It makes it more realistic.
And there was only like 2 shots in this movie that I could point out and be like, "That's some CG right there."
Or for all we know, they locked those things down for those dream sequences and added in the shakiness to match whatever the amount was. For the shots
that's what I was thinking. Just to like, but I don't know.
Totally.
Maybe you could like shaky cam it and then freeze it in the studio and then re-shaky cam it afterwards. I don't know.
I mean, fucked if I know. I'm not a VFX guy. I was a sound guy. I think it sounds good. They're like, yeah, we don't give a shit. We got to make this thing fucking disappear. What's the matter with you?
Yeah, that's all I got for the movie. Do you guys have anything else to talk about in the movie?
No, just shout out to Buffalo. Good to see young Buffalo.
Yeah, young Buffalo with
nice young Buffalo.
Naked Buffalo.
Where was this in his movie credits?
He's like, I came up with a dumb idea. I put my underwear on, so I don't put that in my credits.
I just love the guy. He's one of my favorites.
He is.
What is it about Mr. Buffalo that draws you to
I
him?
do not
Why do you like
know.
him so much?
He seems so honest.
Man crush.
He just seems very honest.
You just
I
have a
don't know.
man crush, huh?
I do.
man crush.
And I'm not sure why. He seems like he's thoughtful, and I don't know how to say it, but he's charismatic is another word I'd say for him. And he's not. It's not like he's like the most handsome guy either, right?
I don't know. You tell us, John.
Earnest.
Yeah.
The one with a crush on him.
Apparently, he's got something going for
I'm
him.
trying to work it out here. You know, I'm trying to be honest here. Trying to, be a little vulnerable right now. If you guys don't mind.
Yeah, I'm just trying to feel. I'm just trying to be the feels.
I like him too, John, and I like him in every single thing he's in. I don't know what it is.
This dude has been in a lot of crap, man. I'm looking at his IMDb page. Man, he's since 1989. He's been in something at least every year.
And not
more
crap
than that.
either. I mean, most of the movies he's in are pretty good.
Damn.
Well, early on in his career, he's like Mirror, Mirror 3, The Voyeur.
Have you seen it? You don't know how good that movie is.
No, I have no idea. You're right. That was
Could be a
95.
fun
Maybe it
title.
was good.
I'm
Or
gonna
maybe it was
assume.
like complete crap, but you're like, whoa, who's that dude, right?
He was also in Mirror, Mirror 2, Raven Dance, John. So,
Whoa, hey, the director loved him, huh?
What the hell is Mirror, Mirror?
But he wasn't in the
about?
first one, so I don't know what happened there.
Oh.
I guess these are Mirror, Mirror. A mysterious mirror, this is Mirror, Mirror 2, is found in a hidden church orphanage. Yet few realize its legacy of evil. When an innocent teen discovers that she is being stalked by her evil sis, goes on. Never mind.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, not worth it. Anyway, it sounds like a kind of a slasher horror thing.
Have you guys seen, what is it called? Foxcatcher? You seen that movie?
Mm-mm.
No.
That movie is the best friggin' Mark Buffalo you can get, for sure.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Foxcatcher?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds vaguely
It's
familiar.
the one
and
where
I don't remember.
somebody got an Oscar for it. I think, or at least nominated. Steve Carell got nominated for it. It's like a true story about a wrestling coach.
Huh.
Fucking great movie.
Oh, yeah. Steve Carell, and it's, yeah. I didn't know Buffalo was in it.
Oh, yeah, Buffalo. It's Buffalo and Channing Tatum and Steve Carell. Weird cast that is perfect for somehow. I don't know how they did that, but yeah.
Oh, they were all in Mirror, Mirror, Voyeur. I mean,
That's right. They made each other on set.
Right. It's scary and sexy.
That's the best. It's 80s horror for you. You guys ready for commentary stuff?
Right. What else? I was going to say something else, and then I forgot.
What else you got?
Oh, have you seen Synecdoche, New York? Because the same soundtrack guy, same director.
Have you seen it?
No, but is
I would
it not
skip
good?
it. It's not terrible.
Okay.
You really need to it's like one of the
and
movies
Philip
about the
Seymour
directors
Hoffman.
that are making a movie about themselves directing a movie. All about director sort of stuff.
Kind of an 8.5 kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like 8.5. If 8.5 was like an hors d'oeuvre, and Schenectady, New York was like a foot-long meatball sub.
What? Jesus.
If that makes
I don't know
any
why
sense.
I find that
I
so
just
funny, but I
got
find
hungry.
it really funny.
I was like, what? Meatball sub? Shit. Didn't understand the metaphor, though.
I don't know why.
But I
That's
definitely got
why
hungry.
Jenny
Is
helped
there cheese on top? Yeah? Oh,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Did you get provolone or American? What's on there?
You got some provolone with a sprinkle of Parmesan as well.
Oh,
And
man.
back to the hors d'oeuvre,
I
was
would
it
rather
like,
have the meatball sub.
yeah.
It was a
hors
pig in a
d'oeuvre,
blanket
was it
with some
Mott
mustard on
sticks?
one side.
Yeah, a little
It wasn't
morsel
Mott
of
sticks,
snail
though, huh?
on a cracker as opposed to... Anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of bloated. It's I don't know. I watched it a long time ago, so it might be better now, but
Yeah. I'd be interested in seeing that.
I'd read the synopsis before, because you'll read it and be like, wow, that sounds pretentious, and you would be correct.
It did. I read the synopsis, but it's like, but Philip Seymour Hoffman, I love that dude too.
Yeah,
so.
I love him too, John. I also love him. I would also not recommend
Poor
watching
guy.
that movie.
Okay.
Not to
Poor guy.
potentially turn you away from one of your favorite movies ever, but I would bet money that you would not enjoy it that much.
Okay.
I think you'd fall asleep. I got money on that.
It's one of those movies that we're forced to watch and don't necessarily like on this podcast, if you know what I'm saying.
I gotcha.
Oh, I've seen a few of those.
Yeah, there's a couple on this list. It's really weird. Anything else, John? Or TC?
No,
Nope.
go Denny. What you got?
So there's a commentary track in this movie. I would not recommend it, which sucks because it has both Michel Gondry and Charlie Kaufman on it, which you'd think would be awesome, but no, it was not awesome.
Yeah.
It was kind of slow. They talked for maybe a third of the time. Most of what they talked about was their inspiration for plot points, which was really just a way to describe where they came up with an idea as they described the plot happening on the screen. They actually joked about in like the first 20 minutes. It's like, well, we're kind of just, this will be like a commentary for blind people. We'll just describe the plot of the movie to them. I'm like, ha 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 ha, shit.
That's weird.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, guys. Gondry is amazing. I mean, if you name an artist like Bjork, Radiohead, he's done videos.
The videos, yeah. He did like the Fell in Love with a Girl video, made the White Stripes popular.
Yeah, White Stripes. Yeah. Man.
He's awesome.
I mean, it's amazing.
He's almost directed no movies, though, which is really weird. This is like one of he has like 4 movies
Chemical
or something.
Brothers, Massive Attack.
Wow.
Man, Bjork. I said Bjork. Rolling Stones, Beck, Sheryl Crow, Daft Punk, Nina Cherry, Foo Fighters.
He did a Around the World music video in the 90s from Daft Punk.
Oh, yeah? Wow.
Oh, wow.
Black Crowes, Sinead O'Connor, Belinda Carlisle.
Hell of a roster there.
And then somehow he can like direct an entire movie too.
Mm.
Just chooses not to most of the time. He still isn't doing it very much.
He was in a band too. Like he was in a band called Wee Wee.
Wow, that's a terrible name.
French name. Well, it means yes. French.
Oh, okay. French
Not
band.
Wee Wee.
Not like
pee-pee.
Not like pee-pee.
Yeah, O-U-Y.
Not your
O-U-I.
pee-pee.
But he was in a band. He was the drummer for that band, and I think he did their videos too. So that was kind of maybe how he got started.
Huh.
And they had like 3 videos then. That was back in '89.
And then Charlie Kaufman has written some of the weirdest scripts ever.
Right. Oh, Adaptation, Being John Malkovich. I love those films. Those are
They're
great.
really good.
I mean, they were so off the wall when they came out. I just really loved
They
them.
still are. Dude, we watched Being John Malkovich recently. That movie is, there's nothing out, like no one makes movies like that anymore.
So I heard that instead of Jim Carrey, Nicolas Cage was planned for the lead for Eternal Sunshine. He just wasn't available.
That would be awful.
You know what?
That would have been awful.
Back then, I think he probably would have done well. That was after
I don't know, dude.
his
This is 2004.
Nah.
This is after The Rock. This is after Con Air. He could have been really bad.
You're right. Maybe it would have been really bad.
His
I don't know.
ego would have been too much.
I mean, he was fantastic in Adaptation, though.
Oh yeah, it's like his best performance probably.
Arguably, yeah. Wow. Yeah, I don't know why is Adaptation not on this list anywhere?
I don't know.
Probably because it's hard for the masses to understand.
Yeah, I got my parents to watch that like one Christmas, and they were like, "That was weird," and I'm like, what?
"That's weird."
Yeah. That movie was amazing. What are you talking about?
That was weird. All right, I'm gonna go prepare dinner.
It is really weird.
I'll be back.
Wait, was that about flowers and murder and deception? And what was that movie about? There was a part where it was like the universe developing.
All right.
Art house
There's
crap,
one part
Denny.
where he masturbated a couple times in that film. That was interesting, son. Thanks. A little uncomfortable to watch that with you, son.
Oh, there was I like the part where they were almost getting eaten by the alligators. That was pretty weird. Didn't expect that in a flower movie.
Grasping at straws here, Denny.
There's a car crash scene in that movie that's frightening as all hell.
Oh my god, dude! There's
Adaptation.
2. There's 2. It's like two of the best car crash scenes in movie history are in that movie. Yeah. Do you know the second one?
All I remember is being terrified of car crash in that movie. So I don't know. I remember one where it's like
there's one where he's like backing out of his driveway and his parents die, and you get like a shot from inside the car.
Oh no! And then there's one where you get to see it coming, but nobody else sees it coming. Yeah, and it's terrifying.
That's the first one. And the second one is when spoilers. Wait, TC, have you seen this movie?
Yeah, a long time ago. I don't remember any of that shit. So
I can spoil it for you. Like spoilers for anyone else. It's when he gets in a car crash when they're trying to escape from the like heroin users or whatever, the people who are like smoking orchids, and he crashes into a truck and his twin brother flies out of the front of the car, and you see from inside of the car the body flying through the windshield and landing on the ground. It's like
damn.
It looks real, and then he fucking dies on the ground outside the car.
Jeez.
That's terrible.
Movie's great.
Cage playing twin brothers, by the way.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Amazing Nick Cage.
That's like one of the ones where I was thinking like when we get towards the end of this list, we should each create like a top 10 of movies that should be on this list and then just fucking watch those. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be, I'd agree. That would be Brazil, Adaptation.
Children of Men. Those are the 3 I can think of right now.
Oh, yeah.
We should start making this list right now.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, otherwise we're not going to remember. All right, I'm data guy, I guess, today. Fuck, I'll write it down.
Make a note.
Making a fucking note.
All right, but there was some very small kind of interesting trivia if you guys want to hear anything about it. They were working on this movie since they pitched it. They worked on it for 6 years, from pitch to when it was in theaters. 6 years, which is a very long time for a movie. Yeah. Usually it's like 2 years max. But
if that now.
Yeah, now it's even faster. But I don't know. I think it's because these guys are like arty, and I think it's because they have time and they're not huge names in the industry to be pushing out, what's that word? Tentpole directors, basically.
Tentpole titles. Yes,
right.
yes. They don't have, they probably didn't have like a 5-year deal.
Right.
Where they're, to the studio, and the studio's like, come on, dude, crank it fucking out, bro. Have a Red Bull. Do whatever you got to do. I don't give a shit.
Right.
Give me a fucking movie. Yeah,
they're not trying to become like career directors. They're like, hey, we can make a cool movie. I got a really good idea. Let's figure out how to do it.
This is their love. This is their passion.
Yeah.
Right? I still don't get it, but whatever.
All the snow in the movie was real. They actually thought about like creating fake snow. They couldn't budget it. They thought about trying to wait for the snow, and they couldn't budget that either because that's super hard to do. Every time there was snow in this movie, it was happening by chance when they were filming in New York when it happened. Oh. And the scene where they were playing in the snow on the beach was actually the producers of the movie tried to shut that down. I don't know why, but like they got to the beach. There wasn't supposed to be snow. There was snow, and the producers like, bring everybody back. But they were already there. So Michel Gondry was just like, dude, we'll shoot it. Like, we won't tell them.
That's weird. Yeah.
So all the stuff with the snow on the beach was all just done without the producer's permission, whatever that means.
Jeez. It's like, hey, you can't have snow there. That's not right.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's a rough go.
About that.
It's a rough go for the studio, I'll tell you. It's a rough go when people start doing that shit.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm glad they did it because I can't think of snow on a beach in any other movie.
Right.
Pretty fucking cool.
I'm always impressed by the fact that there's a studio execs that like think they can fucking wrangle in some nut creative. Like, come on. What do you expect? What the fuck are you talking about?
And why would that make it worse?
$2 million worth of cocaine to make that record. You're not going to fucking tell them to stop doing that shit. Right? Like, what's the matter with you? We're not going to get Starman.
Why would you want to in that case? Right. All right. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Liability issues? I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe.
It could have been a number of reasons.
Maybe. I don't know.
Or it could have just been, because the producers aren't really, they like to get involved with the creative, but a guy like Michel Gondry with a writer that has, and there's no way. Like, they don't have that much pull for these creatives. That's why they ignored them, right? They're like, all right, dude. Everybody show up tomorrow at 9 a.m.
We'll see you in 2 hours. Yeah. Oh, the tire's fucking busted. We'll see you tonight.
Yeah, we're not going to tell any of the crew. We're just going to make them show up, right? Crew calls 9. All right, guys. There's probably a number of reasons. We have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
Could have been anything.
The scene on the train was originally 20 minutes long. I think they cut it down to less than 10 minutes. But on the script, it was 20. And also in the original cut, the written down idea was that they wanted the music in that scene in between the pauses to kind of fill the gaps. But then somewhere along the editing process, we're like, what if we put the music only when they're talking to make the awkward pauses more pronounced?
That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. And it really works.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It kind of just like restarts. It's like Kate Winslet trying to get Jim Carrey into the conversation and she's not getting it, and then it stops.
Yeah.
And
by the way,
starts it again.
I don't know. We haven't said like how great Kate Winslet is in this role.
She's the best actor in this movie.
She was fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
It's not your typical crazy woman role. She does it really well. She's very likable and yet unhinged, and it's done very well.
Yeah,
and also I like it how grounded her real character in this movie with like when it's showing you the reality of her character versus her character when it's inside of his mind. She kind of changes in the mind, but outside of it, she's like super consistent with how she is, which has to be pretty fucking hard to do, I would imagine.
Right. No, she was great. I think, and she was, I don't know, she stole the show when she had her lines, basically.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I think.
And it's something else to watch. She was fantastic.
And even just thinking about the end where all she says is like, okay, when he says, what does she say? Like, it's going to end poorly. And he's like, God, I know. Well, we'll enjoy it. And then she says, okay. And she's like, just her reaction to that is fucking amazing. Like, I don't know how you direct someone to do that. All right, so you're going to kind of laugh cry here, and you want to make it believable, and then say the word okay. All right, go for it.
Right.
No, I mean, they don't tell that. They just tell the motivation, right? Like, your character is fucking a mess. She's falling apart. He's going to allow you to be nice and be okay with the fact that you're all over the place. And what would you feel like in real life if that was happening?
There you go. That sounds more like it than what I just said.
That's how it goes. Yeah. They work on motivation. They don't work on, like, most of the directors I've ever seen, they don't work on, like, anything sort of like, this is what you should do.
Well, I think unless you're working with Charlton Heston, which is like, all right, Heston, you stand here and you point that way, and then we yell cut. All right, that's all you got to do.
Right. When the horse comes this way, don't look left. Okay, that's all I got. That's all you got to do.
Can you laugh, Heston? Can you laugh? Oh my God, he can't laugh. That looks terrible.
Dude, one of the first times I fucked up on a set was when, because I'm doing my old typical thing, right? I'm making people laugh. I'm lighting the mood. Wasn't paying attention to where we were in the script because, sound, you don't have to, right? Because you're there to like get something technical, right? Like it has to sound good. It doesn't really matter what they're saying. You want to know what they're saying to like make sure like if they're going to scream, you're ready for it. But other than that, like I'm not watching like from scene to scene, like where we're at, right? Well, the scene that came up was woman in a bathroom, losing her shit, about to cry, right? I'm over here fucking yik-yakking. And the director comes over to me, he's like, hey, bud, I don't know if you're not paying attention or whatever, but if you look over there, she's trying to get into the role. Would you shut up, please? I was like, oh, yeah, sorry. And I look over and she's literally like practicing crying. And I'm fucking over there going, and I realized like, oh, fuck, like, I almost just fucked this process up because I'm not fucking paying attention. So it always boggles my mind when you can get an actress like that, like you're saying, that the crew must be so professional, right? Because she's able to do that and like ignore the things around her.
Right.
Right. It's fucking, yeah, she's impressive. I can see why she continues to work.
Yeah.
She's like a professional actress.
For sure.
Actor. Yeah. Anyways.
When she punched Jim Carrey on the train, that was a surprise to Jim Carrey, not scripted. No one told her to do that.
Oh.
So his reaction
was real. It's like, oh,
was real.
Jesus, the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah. The fuck is mad at you? You are crazy.
The frozen lake was real. They just found a frozen lake in New York and filmed on it and just like lit it with a spotlight. That's kind of sweet. The that iconic
I
shot
love
on the
that
poster.
shot.
Oh my God. When they're like laying on the ground and it's the cracked ice.
I love the shot where they're laying on the ground and you can see the white of the lights of all the cars behind them.
Oh, that too.
It's just like the depth of field of that shot is so good because they're sitting on ice. It's lit up really right in front of your face. And then like way in the fucking background, there's also a light that's exactly the same luminance almost as the one that's in front. So like, every time I see this, I'm just like, fuck, this scene is so good.
Yeah, that scene is amazing. And when they were talking about the lighting in that scene, I did notice how brightly it seemed lit, but when you're watching it and not paying attention, it seems perfect. Yeah, it seems.
It looks like moonlight.
It looks like the ice is glowing almost, which is nice.
It's so hard to do. Lighting is so underrated in film. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's something like you have to basically be able to set a scene that doesn't look real, and it does once it's on screen, right? Like you're just saying, I see that shot and I'm just like, I wouldn't know what to do here.
It's like, wait a minute, we're going to put a spotlight on them and try to pretend like it isn't just a spotlight on people in the middle of nowhere.
Do you know how much fucking light they need to have on that? They're hitting that lake with some serious light and they're diffusing it and they're making sure it doesn't go too far. They're flagging it so that when the background stays black and it sort of is around them. It's impressive.
Yeah.
That shot is fantastic. This fucking movie's great. This is why I love this movie.
Agreed. The dog that was on David Cross's lap was, quote, atrocious. He wanted to bite everybody.
Oh, shit.
Which
that's why David Cross was pissed.
It's kind of weird, though. Like, you're in LA. We've heard multiple movies. It's been more than just two at this point where the dogs they hire professionally.
They have some nice dogs.
That's their only job is to not bite people.
Well, you know what I would imagine? They were at the end of the budget and they cut a budget and they're like, we can cut the dog guy.
This budget was kind of big, though. Well, wait, that's a spoiler. What do you think this budget of this movie was? 20 million, yeah. It seems like an independent movie.
Yeah, but it's VFX heavy, dude. It's where the money's going.
Well, the thing is, most of the VFX were done in camera, and they were mostly practical tricks, like 95% of them.
Okay, so I was right then. They were just using half the camera. But the point is when those scenes were, I don't think you guys realize how expensive the VFX is. It's obscene how expensive it is. Oof. And that's where all the money goes. I imagine that's where most of it went in this as well, just to make those dream sequences flawless.
I would think so, because they are pretty hard to find a flaw in.
Yeah, and there's not really anything else in the movie, to me, that would bring the budget that high
Jim
up.
Carrey, maybe?
Yeah, and then the actors, right?
Yeah,
of course. Yeah, paying for the actors. So, I don't think most of it was spent on them fucking doing anything but the VFX and then paying for the... shit, even she was pretty big at the time, wasn't she, or no?
She was, but females just don't get paid as much as males still.
Was this post-Titanic or pre?
This is posts. Titanic was like 96.
No, but she had pull then, though. She had pull.
She did. Yeah. She gets nominated frequently still. She's great.
Yeah, she didn't make as much as Jim Carrey, I'm sure.
No.
But, I would hope a good amount of money. It's some crazy shit that there's so much inequality in pay.
It is. People they're like, oh, we understand, but we're not going to change it. So fuck yourself,
No.
Move on.
Right. There's ways to go about it these days. And I think that most companies are. So hopefully that won't happen in the future. But,
Yeah.
Because I mean, they both did an equally amount of fantastic job here. So your name really, I don't know. What do I know? I don't do shit.
Agreed. She's the one who got nominated for a freaking Academy Award for this movie.
Yeah,
I mean, she deserved it.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Fucking deserves
smoke
it.
in almost all the shots in this movie. Not noticeable.
Like smoke, like
Smoke machines.
you mean fog, probably. Not smoke.
They said
Don't
smoke.
do smoke.
I don't know the difference.
They
I know
might call
you
it
know the
smoke.
difference, and there is a difference,
Yeah.
but they said smoke on the commentary track.
Smoke? Think about how you make smoke. How do you make smoke?
Smoke
You
machine.
have to have some sort of, right. But you have to have something that like, it's just dangerous. It's why it's fog. Fog's got water.
Yeah.
Smoke's got some sort of
It's like paper.
combustible
It's like tiny
thing.
pieces
Yeah,
of dried out
right.
paper or
I'm
whatever.
saying it doesn't make any. Yeah. Anyways,
Maybe,
But yeah,
that's what he
that's
said.
just
He
used-
could have just been wrong. I have no idea.
no, they might. It might just be a name for what they call it, right?
Right,
All it does is diffuse the light.
right.
That's the whole point of it. Yeah.
And he uses it. He said it like makes the shots look more realistic, just in general, as long as you use like a moderate amount of it, like a hidden amount,
Yep.
basically.
Yep. That's why you gun the fog, as I've heard people say a million times, and then gun the fog, and then you wait and you let it dissipate for like 3 or 4 seconds, then you action.
Yep. They had to fight to keep the bird hitting scene in the movie. The producers did not like it. They thought it was gross or
Really?
something. Yeah.
Oh shit!
It's kind of weird.
These people, they don't like anything.
No.
Fucking producers. Jesus Christ! You put up a couple $1 million, and all of a sudden you're a fucking pain in the ass. Christ.
And the last thing I said, I think I already said this, lots was edited out. This movie was like
Yeah.
well over 2 hours in the initial edit. They had to take certain storylines out, things like that.
I think I'm glad they did. I don't
Me
know
too.
if it was, again,
Yeah, me too.
I want to focus on just what Jim and Kate basically.
Honestly,
Yeah.
there wasn't
So-
one part where I was like, this is too long or this is too short. Like it was
No,
pretty freaking,
Nope.
yeah, I thought it was great.
pacing was very
But again,
consistent.
from the wiki, they
Yeah.
there was a lot going on in the editing. I mean, that there was a lot of back and forth and frustration in terms of the editor and the director.
Yeah.
So it was a process that was not a happy process, apparently.
But they were apparently also they were given the amount of time they needed to be satisfied with. Like they didn't end a certain scene thinking, well, that could have been better. They were allowed to get to a point where they all said like, this is good. Like we can move on now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is going to be a stupid question, but TC, would you put this in the top 250?
Absolutely not.
Oh, John, would you?
Yes, I'm trying to think of what other movies are like this, and for some reason I think Donnie Darko.
Groundhog
I think
Day.
that- what's up?
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, right. No, but the
Romantic
combination
comedy
of,
based on time travel elements or
right,
something.
right. No, I'm thinking like, but as using science fiction to explore relationships. I think that's what's really interesting. And
Brazil?
I think this movie. Well, that's not on the list, unfortunately.
It's
but
Black
we're gonna watch
Mirror,
it
right?
anyway.
We're only allowed to talk about movies that are on the list.
Yeah. No, I'm just
I don't
saying, like, you're right. But yeah, no, this movie deserves to be up there. It's great.
Agreed. And next week, guys,
What we got?
To Kill a
Timmy,
Mockingbird.
did you have an opinion? Sorry.
I'm just so upset about it. It's such a good movie.
I can't tell if he's laughing or crying in that one.
He was crying.
He's
I think
crying.
He was crying.
Okay.
Yeah.
But next week, we're watching To Kill a Mockingbird, made in 1962.
Ooh.
The synopsis
Ugh.
is Atticus Finch, a lawyer in the Depression-era South, defends a black man against an undeserved rape charge and his children against prejudice.
Okay.
Starring Gregory Peck.
It's 2 years past my cutoff, so I'll be all right. I think.
Yeah, we'll
good.
see how it goes.
Have you guys not seen this before?
I am not.
No.
Oh,
I
okay.
have not.
I
Have
would.
you?
I have.
Okay. Don't give us any fucking pointers. I don't even want to know.
Okay. Sounds good.
I got to go into this fucking thing fresh.
Yes.
All right.
Like John said, keep the positivity. I guess.
Yeah, we need some of that right now.
We do.
Right. Go into it fresh.
Stay safe out there. Hey, this is going to come out for like 2 weeks, so everybody, hope
Yep.
you're all doing well and
Yep.
surviving and stuff. And,
And hey,
stay
this
safe.
episode brought to you by Grey Duck Theater. They've had to
Right.
shut
Way
down.
to stick that in the
during
middle of
this
the
time.
coronavirus warning there,
I
John.
know.
Good job.
But listen,
Yeah.
anybody out
When
there,
it's-
if you
when
can
it's
find
clean,
ways to support
you know.
small local businesses, please do so.
Yes.
So when they're
Yeah.
going to be struggling
Yeah.
right now. So if you can
Yeah,
buy some
shit.
beer from your local brewery, buy a subscription to your local theater, whatever you can do.
Right.
This is going to be
Even
hard
if you
times for
can't
small
go.
businesses. Yeah, exactly. So
Yep. I hear you.
Agreed. Very good point.
Very good point.
And thank you guys for listening. Yeah. Hopefully, we'll be talking without coughing next week.
Yeah, oh God.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
All
right. Talk to you guys later,
guys.
Yeah. All right, later, guys.